When you borrow money, you generally have to pay interest on that borrowed money. In the real world, typically interest is compounded, meaning that if you borrow money, you pay interest originally, and then as that balance changes, as your balance gets higher, the amount of interest you're charged goes up because it kind of increases with the money that was added on. You take the original amount of money, you add on some interest to it, and then the original amount of money has changed. This actually results in an exponential growth. For this class, though, we're going to do something called simple interest. What I was describing before was called compound interest. With simple interest, we're just going to say that the amount of interest, so the formula is generally I equals PRT. We have the amount of the interest, that is the dollar amount of the interest, equals your principal. When I say principal here, this is the amount of money invested. Or if you're looking at it from a loan perspective, the amount of money borrowed. Borrowing money and loaning money are the same. They're the same thing. They're just going different ways. It's which role you're in changes. R is the interest rate. And whenever you put a rate into a formula, you want to make sure you write it as a decimal. So if you have a 3% interest rate, you're going to write that as 0.03, just something to be aware of there. And T is written, this is your time, and this is generally going to be in years. There are instances in the past where certain businesses would give their interest rate and talk about the amount of interest accrued per month or per day or something like that, and people would say, oh great, it's only a 1% interest rate. Well, it's 1% per day, which actually ends up being bigger. That's a several 100% interest rate per year. And so a few people would see that low interest rate and not know how these things work, and they would be taken advantage of. So in general, when we see interest rates, there always have to be APR. This is annual percentage rate, or per annum. This is the Latin. It means per year. In any case, all the problems we're going to be dealing with will have the interest rate and the time as a number of years. All right. Well, I guess I have all that stuff written right there, don't I? I wasn't even looking. All right. So suppose you have $5,000 in a long-term CD, earning 1.25% interest annually. How much do you receive in 1 year? So I'm just giving you some numbers here. The amount invested, this is P, interest rate. Your R is equal to, I need to move my decimal place 2 places, so 0.0125, that's my interest rate. And in 1 year, it says that T equals 1. So I is equal to the amount of interest we're talking about. That's the only thing that we don't know here. It's equal to 5,000 times 0.0125 times 1. So we have that $5,000 times 0.0125 earns us $62.50.